Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Way podcast, where our mission is to help people not go broke trying to get rich. On this episode, I have the most requested guest of all time. This person has been requested by so many people, and she has been so difficult to get on. She is very busy. She has just such tough management and handlers and people around her, but we were able to book her. We were able to get her through for a very limited amount of time. I have none other than my wife, Mindy Pineda. What's up?
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think this was the first time I've ever called you Mindy Pineda in my entire life, actually.
I know. It took me back for a second. That's why I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I called you Ryan, I think that would be just really awkward.
Yeah.
We use babe strictly. That's it.
Bae or babe. That's
Yep.
it. That's it. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else.
So, the reason I want to have you on is because I already know you're going to bring the heat, but also it just kind of fits in the theme of the Wealthy Way, why I started in the beginning anyways, because you've been there kind of by my side through everything, helping me figure out this whole thing of the Wealthy Way. And it's pretty much based on how we've chosen to live our lives, which is very different than I think most people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, obviously every marriage is different, but we do things unconventionally, but in a way that I think could work for a lot of other marriages.
Yeah.
And we kind of have that model that would be good for other people to see and hear.
Yeah, 1,000%. So for those of you who are watching or listening to this podcast for the first time, this is actually my first episode with a guest. And really the difference is going to be that we are going to be doing, still business content. I'm going to have a ton of entrepreneurs on, but I also want to have people like Mindy on. I want to have people who are devoted to helping you have better health, people who are devoted to helping you have a better life spiritually, people like relationship advice, kind of like what this is going to be about for this episode.
Right.
And, that's kind of the goal with the Wealthy Way podcast. And by the way, before we jump into it, I forgot to announce that we are having a huge giveaway. So if you guys leave a 5-star review on Apple and you go to wealthyway.com/podcast, just submit proof that you left a 5-star review, and it will enter you in to win $5,000.
Listen, guys, if you didn't know, Ryan Pineda is not above bribing you.
I'm not
for
above.
Your 5-star reviews.
I will pay handsomely for the 5-star reviews.
5,000, that's a lot.
It is a lot. So go submit your reviews. You heard it there. So, babe, I'm not going to call you Mindy. I think that's weird.
Yeah, let's keep it casual here.
Yeah, let's keep it casual, not professional. So a lot of people see you on social media now. And for those who follow you, especially like the women, they see you're into fashion now. You're the mom of our 2 children. James is about to be, he's almost 4 here soon. Olivia is 2. And a lot of people don't know how you even got to this point. They like, you're a ghost. They don't know anything about you. Like, they know my story. I've said it a million times. So why don't you tell the people where you came from and how we even got to this place?
Where I came from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. My story's pretty simple. I don't think it's anything crazy, but I was born in Korea.
Yep.
And I'm actually from a military family. My dad was in the Air Force. He was stationed over at Seoul. And that's where he met my mom. My mom's Korean. I feel like I have to say that because either people know
you
that
look white.
Yeah. They either think I look full white or they can tell that I'm half.
Yep.
And then, we came to the States like shortly after that. And my dad retired pretty quickly after that. So I grew up in Vegas pretty much my whole life. Since I was a baby.
The crazy thing is, your family, your parents, your mom and dad, is just you, only child. They bought a condo 30 years ago. They've literally lived in the same place for 30 years, this little 2-bedroom condo.
Yep.
And we just recently bought them a house near our new house.
Yeah.
And it's the first time they've lived in a house for 30 years. It's so crazy.
It's crazy. And it's so cute because I'll get text messages from my dad saying, oh, I'm so excited to have a garage, or like, we have a little backyard. Their backyard is not big by any means, but they have like a patch of turf. They have a place for their garden. So it's really sweet and cute to see that, because I grew up in one place my entire life, other than after I met you.
Yeah.
And then I grew up like 6 different houses, but
yeah, we changed houses every year to 2 years pretty much.
Yeah. So, I mean, I pretty much grew up here. I went to all my schooling here. Growing up, I did piano, I did dance, I did cheer. And then I did that in college too. And then that's where my story collides with you.
I know. The tornado.
The life-changing event of meeting you. And now I don't even know where it's going now.
We're in a studio now.
Yeah.
So you and I met, as you said. You were a freshman at UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
I had taken a year off of college because I was drafted by the Oakland A's, and I was going to Cal State Northridge at the time. I got drafted my junior year, and I only had a semester left because I got through college early.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I don't want to go back to Northridge for a semester. Like, I don't want to move to California. I live in Vegas. And so I got Northridge to approve me going to UNLV for one semester. They would let me transfer my credits back. And so I needed to take like 16 credits. And so I literally took a year off and spent one semester at UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to meet this freshman.
My 18-year-old self.
18-year-old Mindy. And the story of how we met's crazy, because
it is crazy.
We ended up meeting at a canoeing class.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this canoeing class that got you 3 credits. Like, that's a full normal class.
I know. When I tell people that, they can't believe it. And I think now they've changed it to 1 credit, or maybe even half of a credit.
Yeah, like 1 credit would be a normal elective.
Yeah.
But this was a full legit credit, and all you had to do was spend
3 days.
Yeah. 3 days at the Hoover Dam canoeing.
Down the Colorado River. And it was, we bonfired, we camped. Like, it was it was a fun time, and we got college credit for it.
Yeah, I would have did it for free. It was just fun. But the fact that you got 3 credits for it was crazy. But that was how we met. There was only like 10 people on that trip.
Yeah. Well, what was crazier is that, when we were picking these recreational classes, obviously we didn't know each other. And we both signed up for rock climbing. You remember that?
Yep.
And we didn't know each other, and we both saw the class and thought it would be cool. But not enough people signed up for that class, so they closed it.
What if you and I were the only 2?
I don't think they would have been able to afford it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have to you still have to pay for the classes, but it wasn't really anything. And so that class closed, and unknowingly, we both then had to go back and pick another recreational class. And so then we both picked canoeing too, which,
by the way, when she says we both, like, it might sound like we made this decision together. Like, no, I never met her.
Yeah.
She never met me. It just so happened I signed up for rock climbing. It just happened she did. We both got the note that, hey, this class is canceled, not knowing each other yet. And then we both just so happened to sign up for the canoeing thing thereafter. And that was how we met.
Yeah. And
so either way, we were going to meet.
We were going to meet. And there were other classes you could pick from. There's a whole list of recreational classes. So the fact that we picked the same class first and second,
it sealed it.
It's fate,
you just
baby.
Knew. Well, actually, I don't think you did know. So tell people how the
okay, you want me to tell the truth, because I was wondering if you were going to tell the story and spin it your way on how you always spin it.
Well, as a good negotiator, I will let you set the tone, and then I will
chime in when
it.
you need
yes.
to. So before the class, actually, we had to meet. This is my first impression of you, and I don't know if I'm sure I've told you this at some point, but
okay, tell me.
We had to meet on Tuesday night or Wednesday night, something like that, like to do a safety briefing I don't even know if you remember, but it was like an hour or 2 hours or something.
I don't recall going, but okay.
Yeah, so clearly I didn't like get his attention at first. But yeah, I walked in and I saw you, and we were sitting in the front, which is not something that I feel like you would do.
No, I never sit in the front.
Yeah,
No.
I always sit in the back. So I went to the back.
Yep.
I was with my friend at the time. I took the class with my friend. And yeah, you were wearing a snapback. I can't remember what else you were wearing, but that was totally my vibe and my type. You had it back.
Because I had a hat?
Yeah, you had a snapback hat.
If you wear a hat, you're good.
Yeah, I have real high standards, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw, and obviously, then I saw your face and your body, and I was like, woo, it's good. It's cute. And that was it, though, because I feel like
that was it.
18-year-old me was just too shy. I'm not going to do anything. I was pretty confident in myself, but not that confident. So I saw you and I was like, oh, he's really cute. This is some eye candy for the trip. Nice. Love it.
There we go.
And that was it. So then, like, I think a few days later over the weekend was the trip. And we go, we all get partnered up with different people. I remember you get partnered up with some other girl, and I was like, whatever, that's fine. Because I was with my friend. I'm like, dang, what a buzzkill. But
yep.
And yeah, and I remember, I don't even know why, because I don't think we had talked hardly ever, but we took a picture together, our first picture ever.
You know who initiated that picture? Me.
Was it?
Of course.
Oh, I don't remember.
You're too shy. You wouldn't have did that.
Yeah, I'm super shy. But yeah, so we took a picture together. We didn't really even know each other. And normally couples take their first pic after they're dating, not literally almost the first day that they meet.
Prophecy. I knew.
So I didn't think that was awkward or anything. I just thought, hey, yeah, sure, I'll take a picture. Yeah, so we took a picture and we do the trip, and the trip is so fun. It's like 10 of us. I think I'm still Facebook friends with our instructor. I haven't talked to her, but the entire trip. Now, mind you, I'm 18, okay, and my friend's 18.
I'm 22.
We're not all there. He's 22. He's a whole lot older, apparently, because the entire trip, him and this other guy, they're just calling us babies and making fun of us. And, I feel like I have pretty thick skin that I can handle, making fun and, all that stuff. But when it's all day long, it's just like, come on, dude, get out of here. So I quickly realized that he was not my type. I was like, yeah, I'm not a baby. I'm 18, and quit making fun of me. And yeah, that was pretty much that. I kind of left it as, you're cute, but I'm not into the whole like jock making fun of, people all day long. And that was it. And I was like, we're just going to part our ways.
All right. So that's one half of the story. So
then we didn't get to the other half, saving.
Let me talk about the other half of the story. So, during this trip, these babies are going canoeing, not really knowing anything. And they're always at the back.
Yeah, we didn't know how to canoe.
The stragglers holding everyone back. And I'm like, oh, man, what are these two doing? And sure enough, during one of their, being in the back, somehow they tipped their canoe.
Listen, I knew you were going to say that. And I just need to defend myself for 1 second. Because a boat came by the same time that we capsized, okay? So, when a boat comes by and there are canoers or kayakers in the water, you're supposed to go slow so that the waves don't, tip all of the people in the water. And this boat did not go slow. So our canoe, at the same time the wave came, we hit a rock or we hit the wall or something at the same time that the wave went under the canoe, and so we completely flipped.
For one, it doesn't really matter how it tipped. Okay, all that matters is the canoe tipped, and they were gonna die.
It was the most cold water I've ever been.
Cold, and the current was strong.
It was so strong.
Like their canoe went flying, like hundreds of yards out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh boy, this is not going to be good. And I happened to be maybe a canoe or two ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, crap. So we turn around. We swim to go get them. They get on the side of our canoe. We bring them to shore.
No. You're missing part of it.
And I'm like, you're welcome.
No. Okay. So this was before I think you had like this sense of leadership and like great ideas and stuff because we obviously had our life vests on and everything, but we were in the water kind of like flailing our arms, not really knowing where we were going to go or what we were going to do because we were on the side of the mountain. So there was no place to go get off and rest.
Right.
And so Ryan and his partner are trying to grab our canoe. They're trying to grab like all of our dry bags and stuff. And he's like, just swim across. And he's like, you guys can do it. It's not that far, and we're not in the right state of mind. I'm borderline hypothermia at this point. And I'm like, yeah, we got this. Okay. Now remember, he said the current's super strong. All right. And we're swimming and we're like, I'm putting everything I got. I'm freezing. I can't feel my legs and I'm not going anywhere because I'm swimming and the current is keeping me in the exact same spot. And he's like, you guys got this. Go. Like, you can make it. And we ended up having to like let the current take us down to another portion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's saying because he just want you want to think that you saved.
I did save you,
but I feel like I saved myself, and then you were there for support.
I helped you save yourself.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, whatever happened, I saved her, and so after that, the trip ends. It's great, to speed up the story because we could just debate about who saved who, but it's clear that. I whether I get full credit or not, there's partial credit for saving. So as we go back, after the trip, I'm like, I thought that went pretty well with her. That was my perception. I'm like, this girl is totally into me. And so I sent her a message on Facebook because that's all there was at the time.
Facebook Messenger.
I sent her a message and essentially I'm just like trying to hang out with her. And ironically, before this episode, we went and looked back at our old Facebook messages. It was easy to find because we very rarely ever messaged each other. But it was like, almost 10 years ago, there's the message right there. It's me like saying something super cringe and just like
we need to pull up those receipts.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Facebook should have like a log that deletes after a few years.
No, because then we wouldn't be able to see all the cute things you used to send me.
Right. So anyways, I message you and I'm basically like trying to hang out and I don't remember if we did or not. I think you came over for like a party or something we had. And then it was your birthday a couple weeks later. And I'm like, oh, let me take you to lunch for your birthday. And
what happened, babe?
So today's podcast is brought to you by Future Flipper. So Future Flipper is a real estate education company that I founded back in 2018. And since then, we have helped thousands of students all across the country learn how to invest in real estate. And it doesn't matter whether you're trying to learn how to flip houses, whether you're looking to wholesale or build your rental portfolio, we've helped everyone in all the different circumstances. This even includes people who have never done a real estate deal. We've helped beginners get their very first deal. We helped other people who have already done some deals scale to doing multiple deals a month. And we've even helped people get to my level, people to scale their business to doing over 100 deals a year, learning to become an owner of the company and not be involved in the day-to-day and learn how to delegate and hire employees at the highest level. So regardless of what boat you are in, we can help you out at Future Flipper. We've got amazing events. We've got amazing coaches. I coach directly in Future Flipper, and I would love to help you get to the next level. So all that being said, if you are interested in getting a free consultation call, a free strategy call to see what it's going to take to help you get to the next level, go to futureflipper.com and you can book a call with my team. Once again, check out futureflipper.com to book a call. So everyone knows I'm a huge advocate of investing in real estate, and for a lot of people that means building their own real estate investing company. But there's a certain set of people where that doesn't make sense. If you already have a very successful business, your time is actually better spent building out that current business versus trying to start a real estate business from scratch. And what you should be doing instead is investing your money in a real estate fund like Pineda Capital. It's pretty simple how it works. At Pineda Capital, we find the best deals in commercial real estate all over the country. We use my network, my marketing tactics, and we locate what we think has a great opportunity for upside through value add, such as getting them leased up and stabilized, such as doing a lot of renovations, or we just bought a deal that was severely under market value and we got a great deal. No matter what, though, it's easier for many accredited investors to just invest with us and let them focus on their own business versus having to go fix them up, get it stabilized, and increase the value over time. So if you are in that boat and you're thinking about, hey, you know what? I want to be more passive on my real estate investments. I don't want to be doing all the dirty work and finding deals. I don't even know maybe what a great deal looks like. Well, it's probably better for you to just give your money to the experts and let us do it at Pineda Capital. So if that sounds like you, it's pretty simple. You can go to pinedacapital.com and apply for a free consultation call for our team. They'll explain to you exactly how it works, how we operate, and how we can get you in on our next deal today. And let me lastly say that even if you're in the real estate space right now and you're an accredited investor, it's still a great opportunity to invest with us because we get access to deals that other people don't. So if you're looking to get into great deals, or you actually even want to work with us on a deal and send us one to partner on, still go to pinedacapital.com as well. Apply for a call with our team, and let's go make some money together real estate investing. You said no. And I just was like, that was weird. I thought everything was going so well. And then she said, no, that was totally unexpected.
Yeah, the male perspective, guys. He just thinks one thing and I'm,
Well, okay, then what happened after that? Tell the people.
I love how our story is just back and forth about who's, higher at the time. Yeah, so the reason I said no, obviously it was 10 years ago, so it was so long that I can't even recall my exact feelings. But I think, it was like a Wednesday. I had school that day. I was just kind of like, what am I going to do? I'm turning 19. It's not like a holy grail number of celebrations. And I didn't feel like I was just kind of like, you don't have to. It's not anything big. So no, that's okay.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, or maybe it was a week later, I can't remember, but I just felt bad, and I was like, well, that was stupid. I should probably just go to lunch. It's just casual lunch. Why did I, whatever. And so I messaged him back.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like, hey, if the offer is still there.
She came crawling back.
Yeah, I wouldn't say crawling, but it was just like, hey, if you still wanted
with her hands open, she's like, hey, if I'm in, if you're still available, if you would have me, I would go to lunch with you. And I said, okay, fine.
Yeah. So we went to Olive Garden.
We did go to Olive Garden. Olive Garden's great. Still my number one.
We just talked about this too. I don't remember anything about the lunch, so it must not have been that great.
It was great. Once again, my perspective was it was great.
I have no memory other than you walking to my car. I'm like, was the conversation good? What did I eat?
Well, you were super quiet.
Yeah.
As you always are, even to this day. And I remember you crushed your food. You hammered it.
I always crush my food.
She finished the whole bowl of pasta, all the breadsticks, all the salad. That was crazy.
Hopefully it was attractive.
Yeah. So anyways, we do that, and then we start hanging out a little bit, and we were kind of talking about this before at dinner, but we were trying to think, how long did we really kind of date for before we became official? And we thought about it, and we were like, it happened in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was so we had this picture in our mind that was it was this long drawn out thing of just us going back and forth. And that turned out to be 3 days in between each thing that's happened.
It felt so long.
It felt so long, but it happened so fast.
Yeah. So we hung out for 3 weeks, and then we made it Facebook official.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a year of dating, we got engaged.
Well, yeah, you left for baseball, so we did long distance for a bit.
Yep. Then we got engaged, and then after a year of engagement, I also again left, and then we got married. You had just turned 21.
Mm-hmm. I had this idea in my head that I'm I want to be able to drink a beer at my wedding. And I think I had a sip because, weddings are just crazy. They're busy.
Yeah.
And I think in hindsight, had I known that, we probably would have just got married the same year we were dating. I mean, we really...
Yeah, probably
weren't waiting. We were honestly waiting for the off season, so we had to wait. Yeah, it was
baseball that was the hold up.
Yeah.
So, we get married. You're 21. I'm 24.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, you were going to school, not making any money. You were going to become a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to still make it in baseball, but I was also just kind of finding myself as, I wouldn't even say an entrepreneur. What was your perspective like during those days, like watching me trying to go make money?
Well, I mean, I feel like the focus was still a lot on baseball. And then once you got released, I just like vividly remember being like, I don't think baseball's over for you. And it ended up being those next few years, some of the best seasons we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't ever remember you trying to be like this like entrepreneur, start your own business type thing. It was just kind of like do something in the meantime, not really sure what you want to do, but still play baseball and have that connection and tie and just kind of like go with the flow, which is kind of always how you've been.
Yeah. I just, obviously we needed to make money because you weren't making any and baseball wasn't really making any.
Right.
So I was substitute teaching for probably, what do you think, like a year?
Yeah. Can you guys believe that? Ryan
Yeah.
Pineda was substitute teaching.
It would look just like this. I'd sit at a desk just like this and I'd play on my laptop and
the kids would just do whatever they wanted.
the kids did whatever they wanted.
He was that sub, guys. He was that sub.
That was the cool sub. And, you know, I did that and we got married and all that. And so I was doing that while we were engaged too.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when we got married that I started to think about like what I could do differently, because I was still a realtor too, but I hated that. I wasn't really good at it. And, you know, I go back to furnishing the apartment. When we finally got married, we got our own apartment.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the big key too, is I was still living with my parents. You were living with Travis and I mean, your cousin and everything. So there wasn't this like push yet, even though we were dating, because we weren't living together. So it wasn't like, oh, well, I need to support her too, you know, or support like a family. It was just kind of like you figuring that out. And then once we got married and then got our apartment, it was like, oh, wait, there's like a whole another person that has to live.
Your parents aren't taking care of you anymore and I got to take care of you. Crap. What am I going to do?
Yeah. And you finished.
I never thought about that, but that was probably what pushed me further than up to that point. Like you said, I was just focused on playing baseball, I was cool making peanuts. I didn't give a crap.
Yeah, it was just fun. It was a fun time. We were young and
so as we kind of progressed, what did you think when I finally started to be entrepreneurial and when I started buying couches?
I just love the couch flipping era. It's I don't know. We've always had just good memories with every season that we've gone through. You know, first of all, you started flipping couches when you realized after furnishing our apartment for like, I don't even know, a couple $1,000, like the entire apartment, everything was used that you bought off of Craigslist. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I can, you know, flip this and make some money. And so you were flipping everything, not just couches. Yeah. I don't know if you tell people, but you like installed dishwashers, appliances.
I probably there's probably at least 100 houses that are hazards
for sure
that I installed, because when I would install a dryer, right, it's gas here in Vegas, majority of them. I did not know about the gas tape or like the safety precautions.
No, you were just hooking it up and leaving.
Dude, I was like, it's good. See ya. and like installing these freaking washers and dryers nonstop. Yeah.
Putting together furniture if it didn't fit in the door or whatever. Like you were pretty handy.
I know. We say I'm not handy, but I was pretty handy back in that era.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was just honestly like another journey that we went through. I loved hanging out with you while we did, you know, couch runs. And then when I was in school and you were doing it on your own or whatever, you know, we'd get that done, or we would do it before date night. We have that like one famous picture, which is kind of upsetting because we didn't really take a lot of pictures back then.
I regret that now, obviously filming everything I do, that man, I wish I would have just filmed all that time I was flipping couches and
making home videos, like just something.
Yeah.
But
definitely regret that.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like also the times either too. So there wasn't anything pushing anybody to
go film.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have nothing but good memories. I think you just kept bringing couches and couches. And at first it was nice because I'm like, oh, I can upgrade a couch. Here's a $300 couch. And now I can get a $350.
We switch couches a lot because I'd get one. I'd be like, oh, she's going to like this one.
Yeah.
This is a good couch.
Yeah. And I think that's also where like my love of design started and all that stuff because, we can just change our household furniture at any point. But then it was just like, okay, well, we have 4 couches in the garage and that's not going to work because you have to give your address to pick up the couches and people started coming in and out of the house. And then, so, I was just like, you can do whatever you want to do, but it's not going to be at the house.
Right.
And so you got your storage unit. And then you got like 2 or 3 more after that. And the same. So you're like, here's one set of couches you would show people. And then you're like, well, let's drive around to my other store. It's on the other side. And then, skyrocketed from there.
Yeah. No, that was a fun era. Just figuring out the couch flip.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think when I decided I wanted to get into house flipping?
Well, that was when I feel like house flipping was not really a thing, but it was starting. And I think I just had this vision of like husband and wife duo, like I'll design it, you flip it, whatever. I think we both quickly learned that that's not how it goes.
No.
And we can't work together.
Yeah.
But it was just the next journey. So I was like, whatever you want to do. I've always said, whatever you want to do, I'll support you from day one and until now. And it's never been like a second thought for me, like, oh, should you do this? Should you not do this? It was just like, I think we have so much trust and I just believed in your spirit and how you do things that it was like, all right, on to the next thing.
Yeah, no. And I agree with that. It's never been one of those things where I get a great idea and I'm like, crap, man, how am I going to get my wife on board with this? What are we going to do? It's always like, all right, here's the plan. Here's what we got. And you're always like, all right, go for it. Good luck.
Yep.
And yeah, it makes being innovative and taking risk way easier when you don't have to fight all these things. Because, even with the whole house flipping story of the first time when we had to max out credit cards, you were never like, oh, this is risky, don't do it. I don't even remember you saying really much about it at all.
Yeah, it was, like I said, another thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Sounds good. Let's just do it.
I mean, people hearing that might find it hard to believe.
For sure.
Was there any doubt in your mind at all?
So here's the thing is that I do get that question actually a lot whenever I meet a spouse of somebody who's an entrepreneur that wants to go all in or do something relatively risky. I personally did not have any doubt. And let me tell you why. I think when it goes back to one, the trust factor of everything that you've done up to that point was successful or mildly successful or whatever. But
I always did what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
It was never like me saying, I'm going to do this. And then I just don't. You never did.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like, hey, I'm going to do this. Here's the plan. And I'm like, cool. All right, let's do it. And there was a clear thought out thing of beginning to end on how you were going to execute it. And, but the second real thing about it was that, yeah, it's so scary to think about, man, if this goes wrong, like we're going to have nothing. And I know it sounds cliche, but it was just like, well, we've started from nothing and we've had each other. If we end up back at nothing, we'll still have each other. Like it's not, if that's like what's going to go wrong in this situation, it's all good.
Yeah, it's not even a thing.
Yeah. So that's the mindset that I've always had with even up to this point is that if we really lost everything or just a company went so south that we had to sell everything, it's like, well, we still have our family. And I'm sure people still won't believe that, but it's true to my core and what I believe. And, it's just something that we've built together. And there's just so much, love and trust between us that that's just how it is for us.
Yeah. No, and I agree. It's been way easier to innovate and do the things that, I've been trying to do because of your support.
Well, and let me say this too. I think when we did that, we were young. It was just us two. So who cares if we lost our, apartment or whatever? We can figure it out together. Now, if I had kids at that point, would I have doubts? Probably, yeah. Would I be afraid? For sure. But to be honest, I think I still would just say, let's do it.
Yeah, and I also think too, coming from we didn't have a lot, there's nothing to lose, right?
Exactly, yeah.
When today you go and lose it all, it's different. You got accustomed to this lifestyle and you have a lot to lose and you took a risk and lost and now you're down. And so whenever I hear people who have like nothing and they're like, oh, I'm scared to take the risk. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. What are you
You have nothing to lose. Your life sucks right now.
Right. You're going to go back to right where you're at.
Yeah. Like now, if you get further along in life and your life's pretty good and you're happy, yeah, it might not make sense to take such a crazy risk.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it also depends on what you've done before, like you said. I mean, if you have a track record of just saying that you're going to do something and you haven't, or maybe you've done something and it's continued failure, maybe you have to approach it differently. Maybe you can't just go all in. But I feel like at least for you and for our story, we've gone all in every time. And
yeah, there's never been one idea that I said, here's the idea, I'm going to do this, and I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, has every idea been great? No. There are ideas that don't work out the way that I would hope they work out, but I at least did it.
Yeah.
And found out whether or not it did. And I think that's what you're trying to say to everyone is like, if you're one of these guys I like to call them the dreamers, there's nothing wrong with having dreams and big visions, but I don't want to hear you say it. I don't need to hear your affirmations. I'm a billionaire. I do this. I do that. No, you do it or you don't.
Right.
Do it.
Yeah.
If you can't be a billionaire tomorrow, go tell me something you can do today.
Yep.
And so I've always been a realist with everything. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm about to do right now, this very moment. There's nothing stopping me from doing this right now other than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I love that. So I think it's important for people to hear, it's like, oh, man, you guys have had an easy life. Well, I think to a degree, we've gone through tough things and made it seem easy, whereas other people may have gone through similar things and, it had them break whatever, right? I think for us, the hardest time was in 2019 as, my business is scaled, we are making great money, we're millionaires, and, we have James.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people may know this story, but, James, my son, was born 2 months premature. We didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And when he was born, he had to spend 2 months in the NICU.
Mm-hmm.
We get him back. We don't know how to be parents, really.
Scary. It was a scary time.
Very scary, and then just less than a year later, he bumps his head. He has a brain bleed. He has to go in emergency brain surgery on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we don't know if he's going to make it. And, he pulls through. And that's our first year as parents.
Yeah, I know. Thinking about it and just looking back, when you just like say it like that and talk about it, it's like, dang, we had a tough first year. And we, are fortunate enough that we haven't had like any problems in our marriage or anything. But I feel like that time really was like, okay, this is a testament of how we can support each other through something that's really just out of our control. And I think that was the biggest thing that we had to learn is that all of this stuff, happened by accident and it happened, I firmly believe like in God's plan and everything for our lives. But to really just teach us to grow closer together and grow closer to God and our faith. We didn't have anything that we could survive on without our faith.
Yeah. There was nothing we could do as parents
as people, as human. As anything, we literally could not do one thing about the situation.
Yeah.
And it was solely because we had to put our faith in God that we just got through all of that.
Yeah. And I'll say it was also the roughest year ever for me in business because I was coming off my best year ever up to that point in 2018. And then, I have a down year. We lose a bunch of money on bad deals with flips. My son's born. Mindy's having troubles being a stay-at-home mom now. You quit your job as a teacher for many years, and James has all these therapies and appointments and, all these special needs that he's got to go through. And I just remember you came to me one day and you were like, hey, I just don't feel like you're here enough for me. And that kind of shook me because I'm like, in my mind, what do you mean? I'm here. I don't work weekends. To this point, I make it this thing that I don't work weekends. Have I ever worked weekends? Like, period? Yeah, I just never have wanted to. Whether I was flipping couches or whether I was flipping house, I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Like, I'd rather just chill.
Yeah. Only when you had to play a Saturday night game and a Sunday day game in baseball.
Oh, in baseball. Yeah.
But
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. You've worked so many weekends up to that point. That's why you're like, I'm not working weekends again.
When you play every day in baseball.
Yeah, that was like real tough for me. I feel like thinking back, I probably went through some kind of like postpartum depression for sure. And I don't know if that was like a factor of everything that was going on. And like your hormones and everything and all that. I'm sure like obviously moms out there, you'll understand what I'm saying. But at the time, I didn't really even know what that was. So it was kind of just like, man, I feel like I'm doing this alone. And I think we can all agree that that is not a normal first year for a parent and for a child. So it was like, okay, well, none of my friends understand. Like everybody's had normal kids or whatever, like you want to call it. They, get to stay home. They don't have to go to the doctor every single week or every couple of days. They don't have to see every specialist in town. And so I was just like, well, weekends aren't enough. I mean, I need like more support. And I'm not like the biggest and best communicator either. So it was like hard for me to just go to him and be like, okay, I need more from this. What can we do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just sat there and I could have taken it one way, which I know probably a lot of husbands would, where they're like, if they were in my position, they would say, well, what do you mean? Yeah. I'm here.
I'm working.
I'm working. I'm supporting. We're making a lot of money. I got employees and obligations. You don't have to work. You're at home. I'm not working. I could have easily said something like that, but this has always been our relationship, is like when your relationship is built on faith in God, and the Bible tells us to love one another and serve one another. And, in marriage, it's about submitting to one another. If my wife tells me she's feeling that way, regardless of maybe how I see it or the world might see it, I have to really take it seriously and say, okay, I mean, if that's how she feels, how can I remedy the situation? And so I started a thing called Work From Home Wednesdays.
Man, that was famous. That was legendary.
Yeah, and I don't even know why. I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm going to work from home Wednesday then, and I'll hang out with James, and I'm going to ease whatever I can for whatever she's going through. Because I don't understand it, but I'm going to ease it, and I'll figure out how to make this work. On top of that, I should add, and I forgot about this too, I didn't realize I was also probably sleep deprived because I was trying to, make things easier on Mindy. So every night James would wake up, I always took it. I took the night shift probably his entire first year of life.
I know. You killed it. You guys watched. I mean, he couldn't breastfeed, so I had to pump. So I would be pumping, and I'm just so tired of pumping like every 3 hours to make sure that, he has enough milk. And, just obviously going through all of that too, Ryan would wake up, or you would wake up at 4 p.m. or not 4 a.m. and you would take James to the theater, get his bottle, heat it up, and you guys would watch anime together and fall asleep. And that was amazing, obviously. But now he's addicted to TV, so that's probably because of you.
Probably. But yeah, I mean, so like I said, 2019 was a very hard year for us in business and family and marriage and everything else. But like Mindy said, even looking back at 2019, I wouldn't look back and be like, man, we had so many problems or this or that. It was just like, yeah, these are, things we're going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. And
I think that's like our motto, our marriage motto is just like, it is what it is. Like we just go with whatever situation that we go through together. And we're like, all right, well,
yeah,
nothing you can do about it. Let's just
I'm not going to complain about it. I'm
yeah,
not going to.
We don't ever do that. So we're like, all right, well, we're together and.
There's no poor me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think 2019 was definitely our hardest year of marriage. And then, we go into 2020 with COVID, and I felt like we were well prepared for that because we had just gone through a hard year.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, oh, this is simple, dude.
It seemed pretty light.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I don't want to, put that on anybody else's situation. Obviously, everybody had a different take on 2020. But yeah, coming from that year of what we went through with James, I mean, I still believe this now. From now until we die, like we can literally survive anything.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So we go into 2020. And let me actually say this before I talk about 2020. 2019 is essentially where I came up with the wealthy way. Going through this taught me that, hey, you know what? No matter what kind of money I make, if I don't spend time with my wife and my son, my son came close to dying twice. And I just remember praying during that time, like, God, if there's anything I can do or give up, I will give it up, like trying to barter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. I'll give up flipping houses. I'll give up anything. And it just occurred to me as he pulled through, like, man, this business stuff, making money and all these things, it's not like the only thing. And it set the framework for what I wanted to do. And, eventually I created, this acronym called RAISE, which was the first version of the wealthy way during that time.
I forgot about that.
Yep. Standard for relationships, assets, intellect, spirit, and exercise. And that was the first version of like, hey, let's live a complete life. And so that was, if you ever watch my first YouTube video of me touring my house flip, I have a shirt that says Raise because that's what it was. And then, in 2020, I think it was 2021, I created the Raise Planner that people used, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then it eventually became the wealthy way as I refined the idea.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to skip our daughter's birth?
She's around.
I'm like, oh, we're moving to 2021. Okay, so we'll skip Olivia.
No, it just got me thinking, since we're on the Wealthy Way podcast, the first episode, that the Wealthy Way essentially originated from this 2019 season of our lives. I never thought that way until, I always personally just naturally enjoyed not only focusing on work and trying to be great at all these aspects of my life, but 2019 really sealed the deal for me.
Yeah. Being
a father and also seeing all these other entrepreneurs struggling with these things. And I'm like, dude, this ain't what it's about, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are all stressed out and anxious over this dumb crap,
Well, and I feel like that's why it's worked so well up to this point, because it's not just something that you created out of thin air. It's something that we've lived to the core from even before I knew you. You've lived that way and I've lived that way. And it's something like, whether the wealthy way word didn't come about until that point, it's just how you've gotten to that point. Yeah. That makes sense. So it's not something that's just like a gimmick of what you've created, but it's something that you've truly lived and proven out to be successful for literally every person, whether you're of faith or not. But like, it's, a model that every single person can follow and it'll benefit your life.
Yeah, 100%. So, we go into 2020 and, obviously COVID's happening and that stuff. You're pregnant again. You got pregnant right after.
Mm-hmm. My kids are 17 months apart.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And
I'm still not sure why we did that, but
here we are.
And
Olivia also came a month early, but thankfully she didn't need to do NICU or anything. She was good.
Yeah.
But it was during this time I wanted to be an influencer.
Man,
Tell
That's
people about
just
that.
wild because I have loved YouTube for a long time, and we've even made like a couple videos. I think I put them in the archive, and if not, I will after this episode so that nobody goes and watches them. But I just loved YouTube. I loved watching other people, do whatever. And I remember we made some videos like during baseball of us traveling, just like, and that's kind of where I started editing and whatnot. And every time I would watch YouTube, whether it was like at home after teaching, it was kind of like a time for me to wind down. And so I would watch YouTube on my phone. And Ryan would give me crap every time. You're like, how do you watch an hour of YouTube? Or why are you watching that? Or what are you watching? You would like crapped on it for so long. And then 2020 comes around and he's like, babe, I think YouTube's like, it's going to be it. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Because had you listened to me to make YouTube 5 years ago, we'd have 20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
But he has to find his own way. I let him just come back to me at some point. Even though, our first date, I had to,
Yeah. I always
trickle
remember.
back to you, or crawl back to you, as you would say.
It was a literal crawl.
Yeah, after everything else that you've come to, I just realized that you kind of have to find your own way, even though it's my idea.
Recently at one of my events, Heather Blankenship, who's a very big real estate investor, came up to me and said, Ryan, this event was absolutely amazing. The community you've built is amazing, but I have one criticism. There's not a lot of women here. And I said, Heather, I wish that there was more women here. I just don't know how to solve the problem. And this is a problem that I've seen across any event I've ever gone to. The majority of them are all very male dominated in real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. And she said, I know, I struggle with the same problem as a woman who's in real estate. Like, I'm always around guys. There's not a lot of women that, I can really build relationships with or mastermind with. What can we do? And I said, well, there's not really many solutions out there. We should probably start the solution together if this is something you're passionate about. And obviously she was, and I am as well. And so this led to us starting a mastermind for women called Wealthy Woman. And at Wealthy Woman, it is for women who are in entrepreneurship. It is for spouses of entrepreneurs like my wife, Mindy. And this is a place where they can get together and grow in their relationships, grow in their business, support one another, go on retreats, and all the cool things that don't currently exist today for women in the space. And so I'm really excited about it. And it's growing like absolute wildfire. Heather is an amazing leader and CEO. And if you're listening to this as a woman, or if you are a man and your wife is looking for some type of fellowship with other women in the space, Wealthy Woman is a great spot for you or for them. So if you want to have a free call with our team and see if it's a good fit, go to wealthywoman.io. We can definitely help you out. We would love to have you in the mastermind. Once again, that's wealthywoman.io. One of the biggest problems I see with investors and entrepreneurs is that they don't understand tax and accounting. They also don't have a CPA that will teach it to them or that they trust. And so when it comes tax time or anything else, they don't really understand what's happening and they just kind of take their CPA's word for it. Well, this is exactly why I created TrueBooks. I want to eliminate this problem because I see it happening far too often. At TrueBooks, we have a number of services that can help you defeat this problem, whether or not you want to use us for accounting. For instance, we have our TrueBooks coaching program where we teach people the ins and outs of how to do your finance, how to handle your accounting, your bookkeeping, what you should be looking for in your taxes, how to understand how depreciation and cost segregations, and how to, initially pay $0 in tax if you do all of these things the right way. So we've got the coaching portion for anybody, whether or not you're a tax client with us. But if you want that custom service, that hands-on service, you want us to do your taxes, to do your accounting, to be that virtual CFO for you, we can do all of those things as well. In fact, we have helped hundreds of business owners and investors over the years, and we continue to do that to this day. So if you're looking for one of those two services, definitely go to truebookscpa.com. You can apply for a free consultation call with my team. Once again, that's truebookscpa.com. We can help you out with the coaching. We can help you out with the services. Reach out to the team and we'll take care of you. Well, here's the thing, and this is not just me. This is advice for anybody. you know, a lot of times you can hear the same thing over and over again, but until you in your heart decide you are passionate about doing that idea and
Absolutely.
you're not going to do it, right?
Yeah,
like
for
I could
sure.
tell everyone YouTube's great. And if you don't want to do it,
Yeah,
'cause
they're not. Yeah.
even
it's
if you
not.
believe me that it's great, you're like,
Mhm.
okay, I see why it's helped you.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to do it.
No, it's not for everybody. So, but yeah, you found your way, and I mean, in my opinion, your first videos were fire. But
They are
you
the
know,
best. Mindy edited my videos.
no shade to the editing team because I love them so much.
Yep. But if you see the first one, she made fun of me and all this. There's a lot of bloopers and stuff.
I love making fun of you, so I think it was just easy to.
It's very easy.
to
They
do
might
that.
be scared of making fun of me.
But the reason I edited was because, Olivia tried to come early. And so I was put on bed rest actually the last 2.5 months. And that was rough. And I didn't know what to do with my time. And that was the same time he wanted to do YouTube. And we didn't have a team of editors or anything like that. And so I was like, well, I know how to edit. And I love doing that. I love being creative and doing all that stuff. And he was like, okay, well, here's a video talking about the PPP loan or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
Yep.
And I sat through and edited quite a few videos of,
You made the thumbnails too.
Yeah, I made the thumbnail. I was a one-woman show at that point, but I also had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, it's funny because you were on bed rest. So we took the leaf on a dining table and put it over like a reclining chair, and it created like a tabletop.
Yeah, and we put the MacBook on top of it so I can put my keyboard and
like not a MacBook laptop.
Like an actual computer,
27-inch.
Yeah, I needed that to edit. So, but I loved editing and doing all that kind of stuff. So that was no problem for me.
Yeah.
The hard part was making you funny. That was really hard.
That is always hard. That is
I
always hard.
feel for the editors now because
that's why they can't do it.
No, they don't get your jokes, and I just need to tell them
my jokes just come off just
dry and it just goes over everyone's head, babe. You're just way smarter than everybody, and
that's what I'm gonna go with.
No one understands your humor. It's just top notch. So
it's just, but if you do laugh, that means you're smart. So, so basically, you helped me do this. It obviously works out, leads to all this stuff and more businesses. How do you think our lives changed since then?
Our lives are wild, babe. It's just, it's crazy because honestly, the most time I really remember the change or like how wild the journey is whenever I go to the masterminds actually. And there's one person that's there and it's like, hey, remember when it was like 12 people in the Flamingo office? I'm like, yeah, we got a taco truck. And it was like a couple hours and it was literally 12 people in this small room. And that was the first ever mastermind. And then it's like I walk into, a huge ballroom of 300 plus people. And it's like, okay, that's when I really can understand the scope and see how far we've come.
This one's 600 at the
crazy.
Mandalay Bay.
At the Mandalay Bay. You've just made your way on the strip from like not that
The
great
ghetto.
at the D, the big D, which is, I just
the D Casino.
Still don't know why you picked that. And then now you're at the Mandalay Bay, which is just, it's been wild. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
It's been fast too, I feel.
Very fast. Life moves fast.
Life does move fast.
So what are some of the things,
Why
people
are you smiling?
people obviously hear the journey now of how we got to where we're at today. I'm going to ask you, what are some of the most annoying things that I do? Like, what is it just in our marriage? You're like, dude, this guy,
we don't have time for all the things, babe. There are so many.
Yeah.
Just about like being a wife to an entrepreneur or the
you could just
pet
say
peeves.
me specifically, sure. Just the annoying things that I do.
It's funny because the annoying things that you used to do, either I have just decided to ignore it because there's no point in changing you, or I've just like got accustomed to what you do. Recently, so along and you would know this too, is that I used to get really bothered by how he eats. And I feel like there's a vlog you just did of you eating.
Yeah, it was me eating.
It's horrendous. I'm cringing so hard when I see that. But I think I've just ignored it so much up to this point. I'm like, you are who you are. I've tried so hard to teach you some like etiquette and with eating. But it doesn't even bother me anymore. I think now that's a good question. I think the number one thing is that you are, what do we say when we're at home? You're not careless, but you're...
It's not even clumsy. I think it's just more so careless.
Maybe, yeah. No, you're right. It's not. I used to call you clumsy, but you're not clumsy. You're careless. That's what it is. Because you have tunnel vision to whatever you're doing that you don't care about anything else around you. And so like... It's
called focus. Some people would call this carelessness or tunnel vision. Some would call it extreme focus.
Yeah, he's so extremely focused that like literally nothing around. He's not aware of anything like around him. He's just like, if this is the destination, I'm gonna get there, and I'm like, doesn't matter what's around. And so what happens is, like just something off the top of my head is like when we're walking through the casino.
Okay.
He will cut people off like left and right. And I'm just behind him, like giving people puppy dog eyes. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm mouthing. I'm sorry. Because he doesn't see it. And I like, people just have to stop because he just walks right in front of them. And I'm like so embarrassed. I have to just apologize for you, but you have no idea. And you still won't, because you're ready to go wherever you need to go.
You know what was funny was, because we do date night every Friday, and so we'll usually go to the casino and go to like a nice restaurant.
Yeah, it happens every Friday, guys. I have to go through this.
Yeah, so usually I get recognized every time we go out, and as I started to get recognized more, I would start thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, I gotta probably have better manners, and like people are looking at me in public for sure. And if this many people actually say hi, how many people see me and don't do it? And I can tell they just look at me all weird.
A lot of people will just stare.
And they won't do anything. No. And I started to think, and I'm like, man, I need to really be more polite and just be on my A game all the time.
Yes.
And then I started to think, no, I don't. Who cares?
No wonder you haven't changed.
Yeah, I'm like, who cares? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I think I always tell you, I'm like, you need to have a little bit more compassion. You need to be aware of other people's feelings and whatnot. And he's just like, meh. So, we're working on it, guys. Not even the Ryan Pineda is perfect. I know you thought so by his hair and his chiseled jaw, but there's a lot behind the scenes that I could just go on and on. But yeah, I think that's the number one thing at this point.
Yeah, I don't have very good manners for sure. And that just is what it is. What do you think it's like being married to an entrepreneur at this point? Like, what advice do you have for women listening?
Oh, man. Do you want the tea, the truth? No, I'm just kidding. Being married to an entrepreneur, 90% of the time, I'll say, it's fun. It's exciting. It's just really cool experience to watch something start from an idea and see a full blown, set of employees or just whatever it is, an event. Like it's really wild. I don't really think a lot of people actually get to experience that and if they do, it's their entire lifetime. And for us, it's like,
what's funny now that you say that is, we were having dinner with Justin, my producer, and his wife, Ashley.
Yep. Love you.
And he had brought that up because they were talking about it. And here's the weird thing is that people don't ever talk to me about me too much. I don't ever hear the conversations because I'm just like in my own world. And
tunnel vision, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people say. I do know what people say about me. It's not good. So
we don't read the comments.
Yeah, I just do what I do. But to hear him talk about it, because Ashley would say something, he would say something, and I'd start to hear the conversation of like how people will talk about me and perceive the things I'm doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of weird for not normal people, but just like it's
majority
definitely
of people.
Yeah, it's just not normal.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying the craziest thing is I'll watch Ryan come up with an idea right there on the spot out of the blue, and within 30 days, it will already be executed and done and making money
Yep.
and crushing and whatever. And it'll just be done.
It'll just be a machine at that point.
Yeah. He's like, I've never seen anything like it. To your point, for me, I get a great idea and I get inspired. I'm like, all right, it's going down.
Yeah.
This idea is about to crush and we're going to do it.
No, you're a doer. Like, I mean, if there was any person to represent that word, because I mean, you just like, if you want something done, and even for me, it might be frustrating for you because you're like, oh, we'll do this and do this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it whenever. Like, I'm a big procrastinator, so I'll just like wait. I don't have the desire to get it done right there. But you have to get it done or it will just like consume you. So I feel like you don't even let it get to that point. But, you know, if you see something that's going to be successful or just whatever, make something work better, you're like, just do it. Do it right now. Like, what? I don't get it. And I'm like with the other people, I'm like, we'll just do it later. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not urgent.
No, I'm like, no. This must get done right this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was just, we got Austin in the back and, we just got rid of the old studio from upstairs for the Ryan Pineda show. And, as soon as we were done filming, I called up, we donated it to my church. I hit him up. I'm like, are you guys ready to pick this thing up? Like, let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of my office. And then I already reorganized the office and I call up Austin. I'm like, get this crap out of my office and get it down into the new studio. Like, I want my office the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And feel good. I mean, you want your workspace.
Yeah. But most people would, it'll.
Yeah. Like if it happens, it happens. Or however it'll happen. But you just like put it in place to where things are going
to happen now.
But that's also, I mean, going back to like your question is just, that's really what it's like to be with an entrepreneur too. And I think
a good entrepreneur.
That's true. That's all I've had experience with. So
a normal person entrepreneur, we call them wantrepreneurs.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Are, this is the idea. All right, great.
Yeah, they don't execute.
The next day, what happened to the? Oh yeah, we're working on it.
I love that. We're working on it. They're not doing anything. That would annoy me too, actually. Maybe that's why we work so well together.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a wantrepreneur, okay, nobody knows they're a wantrepreneur, but if you are somebody who has big ideas and you never do them, you are a wantrepreneur.
And you can change that, but you can't be yourself still.
See, there's the encourager. I wouldn't have said that. I would be like, and you suck. Okay. Like,
well, not everybody can change it, but you for sure, you can have dreams and visions and everything, but you gotta do something about it. I mean,
and you don't have to accomplish your dream tomorrow. That's right. The thing. Like,
you have to take the next step though.
Whatever step one is towards the dream, do that tomorrow, literally tomorrow, because there's always a step one, right? Because let's just say you're going to go start a brand new business and you want to launch it in 30 days. Okay. There's always a step one that can be done tomorrow. You got to go set up the LLC.
Yeah.
You got to go buy the domain name. You got to think of the brand. All right, great. Okay. These are all the steps done. All right. Step two. All right. I got to go hire this guy. Like it's just literally step by step. You're not going to have the entire business tomorrow.
Right.
We actually just got off a call. We're working on a new business that
I thought we weren't going to talk about this.
Well, you can talk about it if you want. I'm just going to say we're working on a new business.
We're working on our first ever business together. We haven't finished negotiations about who owns what. But I'm so excited about this. I think, I know when you have good and big ideas because they're usually my ideas, but this one is like, this is going to be huge. I like feel it and yeah.
All right. You guys heard it here first.
Should we give them a little teaser?
I will leave it up to you, but I was just going to give the lesson of this idea. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
We have this big idea. Mindy came to me with this idea. I will go on record and say this was not my idea.
You heard it here first, folks.
I've had this idea before, but not to the degree that Mindy wants to do it. And she came to me at dinner and said, I think I want to do this. And I'm like, you want to start a business? That's the first time you've ever told me that in 10 years of being together.
Listen, people, I'm a creative and a visionary, as you like to call me, and that's it. I don't ever pretend to know that I know how to run a business. Now, I know like what you do, well, sort of, not really, but like I feel like I could be successful in business now because of you, just like of learning what you've done and seeing how you do it. But myself, there's no way I would be able to do it on my own because that's just not where my wheelhouse. And maybe this is a lesson for those out there too, is that you need a partner in both aspects of the person who has the creative and vision and, you know, whatever, that side of it. But like, don't pretend to know, you know, how to start it in the numbers and the hard questions that need to be asked.
Yeah. What we always say is you need a visionary and an integrator.
Perfect.
You know, the visionary is the person like yourself coming up with the ideas. The integrator is the one executing on those ideas on a day-to-day basis.
Gotcha.
Now, the problem is I am the visionary in every company. I do not run the day-to-day and execute. You are asking me to be the integrator.
Right. That's true. Well, okay. So I asked him and I said, here's what I want to do. How do I do it? And guys, he grilled me like every other client. He's like, well, this is what I do. I, you know, give them the runaround and I make them see how we need to get to that point. And I said, babe, we don't need to do that. Just give me the answer. I don't care about all that other stuff.
Jesus spoke in parables for a reason, okay? If Jesus just gave the disciples the answer right then and there, they wouldn't have got it.
Oh, Lord.
They have to get the parable and they have to figure out the process themselves and let their minds come to the conclusion of, oh, I understand why now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had to kind of walk you through.
Well, I feel real sympathy for everyone that's gone through a meeting with you, because I'll be honest, after that first, like, our meeting, we called this a meeting. We're like, oh, we can write it off now because, you know, it's business.
It's always business.
I was so discouraged. I was like, man, maybe I don't want to start this. And I definitely don't want a partner now. Like, you know, but
or maybe I was playing mind tricks on you to become your partner. I'm like, you don't want to do this. This is a lot of work, babe.
Yeah.
If you really want to do this, look, I'm going to need like 80% of the company to run this.
Oh, man, you can flip it around. You can have 8%. That's about it.
8%.
But yeah, no, he definitely like, but it was good. And it was good for me to see because I didn't have the answers to the questions that he was asking. I didn't have any idea how I was going to get to this point. I just knew this is what, you know, a problem in my life that I wanted to solve and something that I wanted to do and be a part of and be creative. But that was like honestly where it stopped. There was no point to get to actually.
Well, and I think this is where most entrepreneurs stumble, right? Because had you not had me, you'd be like, this is a great idea.
And that was it.
And that's it. Because you don't know step 1 or 2 or 3. And the point for me was I was trying to help you understand step 1. Like, okay, you want to do this. Who is the person that you're targeting with this? Let's understand their needs, not what you think is a good idea.
Right.
And that's the thing with products, right? It's most people who start businesses start it for themselves, when in reality, you start it for your customer. You think from the customer's perspective, what would they want? But yeah, anyways.
It's going to be huge.
Just like I had her crawling back on... you know, our dating, she came back and said, okay, I'll allow you to be in this business with, even though we own everything together, but
yeah, we don't separate anything, but you know,
so anyways, I was just kind of messing with her. I'm like, do you want me to do this? Like, if you just give me the go ahead, I already know how to do steps 1 through 10. Just
I think you were trying to just really fill out like, is this something I want to do?
Yeah, I was honestly like, seeing if you're serious about it, and like, because if you are serious, you know, we'll crush it.
Yeah,
and I will go out and do it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I personally, I'm somewhat passionate about it,
right?
But not to the level you are. And I'm like, okay, if you're really, and you know, counting the cost.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, hey, this is the cost of what you got to do. And I asked you that from a time perspective. This is all about the wealthy way as well. I said, you know, you're a mom of 2 kids. You play on the worship team. You got all this stuff. You know, we want to have more kids. Do you think you could actually do all that stuff plus run a company? And you're like, yeah. And I go, tell me how you're going to do it. Tell me exactly how many hours you can devote to this company and still be a mom and be a wife. Explain to me how it would work. And you're like, yeah, it's a lot of work. And I told her, I go, here's the cost. You know, right now you sleep in, and this is like me going from husband mode to consultant mode. And I'm like, you asked for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you straight, not as husband, but as consultant or partner. And I was like, here's the cost. Right now, you wake up really late because you like sleeping in and you don't have to. It's like, you're going to have to wake up early. You're going to have to wake up probably at 7, 6. If you want to add those extra hours in and do what it takes to run this business and create while also still maintaining the rest.
Right. Yeah. And it took me, I told him after that, I said, let me think about it. And then I just really kind of thought, am I really passionate about this? Am I serious about this? Is this something that I really want to do? And it just falls like also in the right time of my life where, I'm doing my own thing and you're kind of doing your own thing. And I'm, like our kids are a little bit older. So I'm having more time to really just figure out what I'm passionate about and what I want to do. And it was just like, I'm ready and I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
And let me add to this, as Mindy said earlier, we've developed like all these businesses together to a degree. She was editing, she was helping with house flips, she was there supporting. When we launched Tykes, she was always bouncing ideas off with me about the name, the characters, the art, different things. So she's always been there as a partner regardless. And, we got Wealthy Woman Mastermind and, there's all these things that we've done together. But this would be one where I'm like, you're the lead. I'm here to support and obviously I'll promote, but, this is not my project.
Yeah.
The other stuff, these were all my projects and I want you to help me do them. But this is your project and you want me to help you do it.
Yep. Yeah, and we've talked about it many times up to this point, and obviously...
Why don't you just tell them what it is?
No, because I feel like we haven't gotten to, we're in the development stage at this point. We just took our first, official meeting right before this podcast.
Why don't you guys comment below
what you think
what you think this is?
Yeah.
And if you comment correctly, we'll do it. We'll put a heart in the comments.
The teams are just gonna heart everything.
They are gonna heart it, but maybe
we'll see.
Whatever. But no. Anyways, so this project, we talked to the team that I've hired because I said, once you give me the go, I'm going.
Yeah.
I call my connects immediately. I start piecing everything together, and I'm like, all right, we're ready. I'm like, come to the office at 2. We're going to have a meeting with these people.
Yeah.
So we have a meeting and, we talk about the time frame to launch this. It's going to take probably 4 months before it launches. And there's all these things that happen behind the scenes before a launch. And
right.
Yeah. So for the next 4 months, we got a new challenge ahead.
I think it's a big challenge. It's not even a challenge of what we're creating. It's a challenge of working together. Officially,
the challenge is not on here's what the challenge is going to be is that I don't want to come up with the visionary creative stuff,
right?
Which I've had to do for every other company. So I'm relying on you, and I'm also relying on you to work to the speed that I'm accustomed to.
Yeah, I think that will be the biggest challenge for me is that portion. I don't doubt at all the creative aspect and being really hands-on with all of that. I feel super excited to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, on your time frame, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I can't get up at 5 a.m.
Well, because I'm going to be like, let's go. We have to hit this step today. This is what we got to hit. Did you send it? Did you do this? Have we finalized the name, this thing?
The name is the main thing, but I think I feel good about what we've come up with.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I came up with the name.
You came up with half of the name. I came up with the word.
Yeah, we'll see if the name
Here we go.
is what it is. But anyways, it's an evolution. And I think for us, we're coming up on 9 years of marriage, and it's been a whirlwind of different things, and we'll continue to do different things. We'll continue to vacation, start new businesses, enjoy being parents, enjoy being husband and wife, enjoy serving at the church, enjoy giving, social, I enjoy all of it. I wouldn't change my life for anything.
Same.
The only thing I might do is play pro golf.
That's a whole nother thing, guys. You're just on to the next I don't even know.
I just like really hard things.
Yeah.
Like challenges.
You do. And then you want to like be the best at them and excel. So
Yeah.
I will say you're working, really hard to play something.
Yeah, there's actually not even a reason.
Yeah.
Like it's not even, I don't know why. I just enjoy it. It's a hobby. But anyways, well, I think this was a great episode. I think people really are going to resonate with this. I'll let your manager know,
I'll send you the bill.
Well, we'll have you back on. Was this good enough that you would come as a guest co-host?
Oh, interesting. You've never asked me that. Yeah, I mean, this was really fun. I didn't feel nervous at all. Maybe it's just because it's you and me talking, but it's always fun to, go through our journey together. I think that it's wild and hopefully it's fun to listen to, obviously, but.
Well, we're gonna have different, like, where there's not guest, but it's just co-host banter, going over a subject or current events and different things that have happened.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that would be super fun. But I'm gonna be really busy doing this project, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to fit that.
You sure you don't want to tell them what it is? If they've made it this long.
Okay, fine.
They deserve to know if they've made it this long.
You're right. Only the real ones will know if they've listened to the whole thing. So Ryan and I are going to start our very own clothing brand.
Yep.
Clothing line.
And it's not merch.
It's not. This is not
Ryan Pineda merch or Future Flipper merch or anything. Like a legit brand.
Yeah.
That obviously we're affiliated with, but like legit that people want to wear it. It's its own unique thing. It's the best of the best materials, design.
Yeah, we won't tell you like the angle yet because I feel that we're going to, do that and tell you the story on how we've created or how we've come up with what we have. But yeah, it's not, I don't want to affiliate it with like an influencer merch brand or anything like that. Like eventually we won't be the face of the brand.
Well, also, with every product that I create, it always has to fill a need in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't just start things because I'm like, oh, merch is cool.
Yeah.
No, like there's a reason, right? Yeah. When we started Wealthy Women's because there's not a lot of women's masterminds. Is a huge void. Starting Tykes is because there's no other mastermind for real estate and crypto. Mm-hmm. So there's always these voids that I'm trying to fill at this point in my career. And this clothing brand fills a huge void in the marketplace that nobody has addressed, that you and I have seen firsthand and
experienced firsthand. So that's why we're excited about it because nobody has done this well. And really, I think
nobody has done it. Nobody, it's not even well. It's just not being done.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for it. So you guys who have stayed this long,
you heard it here.
You heard it first. You deserve it. But anyways, as we wrap up, as I said before, make sure you leave a 5-star review. We're giving away $5,000. Go to wealthyway.com/podcast to submit a screenshot that you did that. Also, we got all these free resources with Wealthy Way that are amazing. We've got the free planner. We've got the free Wealth Builder Academy course. I'm also coming out with a book later this year. We're coming out with the Wealthy Way app. We're coming up with a brand new course called Business Builder. We've got a newsletter.
I think I'm going to have to take that business one course.
You will. Actually, it's going to be great for you. That's going to be required before we can partner. You got to graduate.
All right.
And I'm not like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I'm actually serious. I need you to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, your percentage is going to have to go down then.
That's fine. But anyways, go to wealthyway.com to get all of these things and the updates when they come out. Mindy, I am thankful that you came today.
Thanks,
people got it. So
thanks for having me. I had a good time. Yeah. I hope I get invited back.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wealthy Way podcast. If you got value, there are 2 things I want you to do. The first is go to wealthyway.com and get access to all of our free stuff. You can download our courses for free. You can use the Wealthy Way planner for free. You can subscribe to our newsletter. All of it's free. It is such amazing value. I want you to go take advantage of that. The second thing is, if you could go to Apple and leave a 5-star review, or if you're watching this on YouTube and subscribe, that would be amazing. It would mean a lot to me. In fact, if you leave a review, I might just shout you out on the next episode because we are reading those. So definitely check it out, and thanks for watching.